Here is our Buckwheat, who we're calling Buckwheat, of course. And this is a very handsome 16 3-hand, 5-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Kettle Corn. And he's out of an Arch mare. And he is coming out today for his second post-track ride. I had ridden him one day the end of last week. I want to say maybe it was Friday, Thursday or Friday. I can't really remember. He had the weekend off. And then this video is from yesterday, Monday. Yes, yesterday was Monday, today's Tuesday. Sorry. And so he's come back out for his second post-track ride, and he felt so much better in his feet, which of course just makes him feel better through his body in general. So that was really exciting to feel. And I thought that in general, he moved better, and I really didn't feel any sore steps out of him at all for this ride. So I think we're really like we're rounding the corner of hopefully his foot soreness. Now watch, I say that and then like next week he'll have an abscess or something, but there's not much you can do about predicting or those things. But for now, he feels fantastic. He's not getting his feet packed anymore. There's nothing special going on. So I'm really pleased with how he feels. Now, this ride did get cut a little bit short because, and I knew I was cutting it close. I was trying to squeeze this ride in before my dentist came because I knew that he would probably get his feet done. And so then he would get a little, his feet, listen to me, his teeth. And so I knew he'd get a little dorm for that. So obviously I wanted to ride him before all that happened. So my dentist came right when we started doing our canter work. And so then we had to wrap up to go and help her get started. So we didn't get to the right lead canter and we only got a little tiny bit of left lead canter. So apologies for that. But actually, we did canter a lot in his first video, in his first post-track ride, his first video. So if you didn't see that and you're dying to see more canter work, just go back and watch his first post-track ride video. There's a bunch of canter work in there. And actually, it's a shame we didn't get to it because his canter is absolutely incredible. It's his premier gait, super balanced and uphill, and makes a beautiful shape. Well, he makes a beautiful shape in all gaits, but especially the canter is really lovely on this horse. So in his trot work, I mean, I thought he was fantastic. I thought that he was more connected. He was steadier in general. He had a relaxed, sort of happy way of going as we had our ride. And I just have no complaints about him. I thought he was excellent. I thought that he doesn't really have one direction or one side that's particularly easier or weaker than the other. So he found pretty nice flexion in both directions. He's not particularly heavy on one shoulder or the other, so he feels like fairly straight. So in terms of like riding a young green horse right off the track, he's fairly easy because he doesn't take a lot of babysitting of one shoulder or the other shoulder. With some of them, I have to pretty strategically monitor, like, okay, on this half of the ring, they're going to be falling out their left shoulder, so I'm riding that side, and then I know that at some point they'll switch and it'll be the right shoulder, and so that you have to really be thinking about where you are in the ring and which shoulder or which side you need to be focusing on, sort of keeping straight or keeping in that train track that you're trying to ride on. But he really does not do that. And if he does have little moments of lean, it's just very mild. So he actually affords me the luxury of thinking about other things like, am I like sitting up and riding well? How does our connection feel? Could he be a little bit rounder, or is he a little too round? And do I want his pole to come up? So he actually is very rider friendly for a horse who's just getting his first couple of post track rides. Like his cute little face there. He's checking out Billy, who's taking his picture. And he does make a very pretty picture. I think this is some really nice work here to the right. And then he does quite a nice change of direction here. I know he comes above the bit a little bit there, but here I thought this was a really nice change and bend from right to left. find him just to be a very sort of classic looking horse. You know, the dark, solid dark bay, just absolutely beautifully put together. He just looks like a really classy type thoroughbred to me. Canter transition was a little bit of a run-on sentence, and I would have gone back to work on that, but right here where I just broken the videos because my dentist came in the driveway and the dogs were out, and of course the dogs were on the other side of the ring, so they of course had to go running, howling towards the dentist, and he was fine. He didn't do anything wrong. He just sort of picked up his head and wanted to look and see what all the commotion was, which is perfectly fine, and as you would expect, but so it just took me a couple of seconds to get his attention focused back on what we were doing. So then we just wrapped up really quick with a couple of good seconds in the left canter. And then that was it for the ride because we needed to get back to the barn. And then he did get his teeth done. It was just a routine float, but he did need them done. So I'm glad that now he's had that. And here he is on cross ties before we rode, and he's extremely well mannered on the ground. Very professional. Stands absolutely perfectly on cross ties. He was excellent for the farrier. Look at him, he's so funny. Loves his peppermints, so he does get some mints here and there. He really likes them, and he deserves them because he's so well mannered. He is so funny. I love his forelock blowing in the fan. Yeah, he's a good boy. And I think he has a little moment here because I put the back boots on him for the first time. So then he realizes he has hind boots on. He takes a funny step over to the side, but really not much of a reaction. They always have that sort of silly reaction the first time they realize they have hind boots on.